Black women have a median net worth of only $5,300, which is the lowest of any group, but we're the most educated and we make good money. So why are we still behind? It has nothing to do with the economy or our income. High achieving Black women are perfectionists. We keep believing we need to learn more before we invest our hard earned money in the stock market. We want everything to feel right before we act. We research, we gather information, and we read everything. Then we plan and we save and we wait for the perfect time to invest. But while your money is sitting in a 4% high yield savings account, the stock market is still moving and you're missing out on double-digit gains. So in this video, I'll show you how to stop overthinking and start investing consistently so you can retire early. Hey, I'm Malika, a stock market investor and a money coach. I built my portfolio and retired early in my 40s. Then I left the US hustle for a simple life in Bali. Now I teach ambitious Black women to invest in the stock market and build wealth for their own early retirement. If that resonates with you, subscribe to my channel. I think you'll love it here. So, sis, if you have been researching how to invest, watching videos on investing, reading articles on investing, planning and waiting for the perfect time to put your money in the stock market, I want you to know it is costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential gains. And I know because it's a mistake I made too. When I first heard about investing, you may remember me talk about this in prior videos where I mentioned a mentor I had when I first started my career. But when she first told me about investing in the stock market, I didn't take action immediately. Every payday I say I would, then I do a little more research. I read another book. I'd run the numbers in my spreadsheet, and then I would tell myself, I just need to learn a little bit more. I'd watch the stock market rise and then it would dip and then it would rise again and go higher than it was before. And the whole time I was convincing myself that waiting for the right time was smart. At least it felt smart to me, but it wasn't smart. It was fear. I was just afraid that I would make a mistake and lose money. I didn't realize that my overthinking and my perfectionism was an expensive decision. Because by the time I finally decided to invest and put my money into the stock market, the stock that I had been watching had already grown by over 20%. I see this same pattern in other high achieving Black women because we've been taught to plan carefully, to do our research, and to work hard to get everything exactly right. And that's because we have to work twice as hard to be considered just as good. That approach is needed in corporate, but in the stock market, overthinking and perfectionism will cost you real money. Here's what's really happening when you overthink and wait for the perfect time to invest. First, you're assuming there is a perfect time. And the only perfect time would have been maybe 20 years ago when we had more time. But the stock market moves in cycles. It goes up and down. So if you weren't investing 20 years ago, the next best time to invest is now. And second, you're confusing knowledge with mastery. You don't need to know everything to earn a return from investing in the stock market. While knowledge is gained from doing research and reading, mastery is gained from doing. So you have to be in the market in order to master the market. And then you learn and increase your gains as you go. And finally, as a high achieving Black woman, you probably identify as detailed oriented. And that instinct creates safety because it helps you to avoid making mistakes. But honestly, sis, it's just overthinking and perfectionism to protect your ego. As long as you're researching and planning, you never take action. And if you never take action, that also means you never fail. That's your ego. The thought of it makes you feel safe, but at the same time, if you don't take action, you can't retire early either. Women who build wealth to retire early are not perfect, and we don't avoid making mistakes. I've actually made a lot of them. But while others are researching and deciding and missing out on double-digit gains in the stock market, we take action and we learn as we're growing our portfolio. So if you have been saving money in a high yield savings account and waiting for the perfect time to invest, take it from me, sis. Now is the perfect time. Here is what I would suggest to meet you halfway. Pick one investment, such as a low cost index fund, and set up a recurring automatic contribution. You don't need to read the charts. You don't need to try to time the market. You just need to be in the market. Then spend the next 30 days learning about what you just invested in. Learn about what's happening inside of the fund that you choose. Identify what are the top 5 companies inside the fund, and then do your research to learn how do those 5 companies make money? What makes them profitable? I think that will satisfy your desire to research and learn more, but it will also shift you from overthinking and perfectionism into consistent investing and actually growing your portfolio. This one step will compound the gains in your portfolio year after year after year. And when you start seeing those gains, instead of wondering, is now the perfect time to invest? You'll be able to say, I am finally showing up for myself and building wealth for my early retirement. If you are a sister that wants to stop overthinking, but you want some guidance on how to grow your portfolio for early retirement, my group coaching program, Invest with Ease, is open for enrollment right now. I teach Black women how to invest without the confusing finance bro language, and we don't spend hours doing endless research, but all of us are building and growing a portfolio. So if you want to join us, the link is in the description of this video so you can apply. And if you want to see one of the investing strategies that I use to retire early, watch this video next. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.